Okay. Hi guys. I'm sorry for my crazy hair. It's been a crazy 12 hours. Not bad crazy, just kind of irritating crazy. So I'm sorry about that, but this video might end up being kind of long. And it's about something that's been going on kind of on and off for the past 2 years. It has to do basically with my relationship history and kind of how not really as much my eating disorder has affected it, because I don't really think it ever had a chance to affect my relationships. And when I mean relationships, I mean like dating relationships. More so, I kind of feel like my depression has kind of affected the way I deal with relationships. But something's been happening the past couple weeks that kind of brought it all on again, and I kind of want to discuss that. So this might involve some eating disorder discussion, but it's mostly going to be kind of depression and like self-esteem and self-confidence talking. So I should probably start because it might end up being kind of long. I have like little notes that I made because I want to make sure that I don't forget or leave out anything, because it has been 2 years in the process. So I guess I'll start off by saying it might not seem like it. Well, it might actually, but I've never really been an outgoing person, even when I was like in elementary school or middle school. I was never really outgoing, and I've always kind of been introverted, and I guess um, from a very early age, I just kind of noticed that really, I was just really, really painfully shy, and I've always been that way. I mean, more so with like my age group, not really. I can talk to adults, but not other people my age, which is kind of strange, but so I didn't really start dating for that reason until around high school. And I've only ever had one real relationship, and it lasted about a year. Um, and he didn't go to my school either, so it was almost like we met on accident. We met through my friend at a church camp, actually, and we dated. We started dating about 2 years ago, and this was before I even really realized I had developed an eating disorder or was developing an eating disorder. It was before I even really considered that a part of my life. Um, so, but it kind of started while we were already in a relationship. And I keep looking down because I'm looking at my notes. And during the first couple months we were dating, I realized that he was younger than me, so that might have something to do with it. But he was more interested in the physical part of the relationship and not really like the social, like personality part of the relationship. So that kind of messed with my head a little bit. I mean, nobody really wants that. I mean, you obviously want to have a personality connection, not just the physical connection, although that is a part of it. But after a couple months, we took a break because of distance. He lived kind of far away, and we got back together about a month later after that. And I mean, we ended up ultimately breaking up after about another month because we realized that the distance between us was just too much, and we weren't seeing each other enough. And also, I kind of wanted to kind of move on because I just felt like he didn't really pay attention to the he was only interested in like the physical part of the relationship, and that wasn't I wasn't really comfortable with that, so I kind of just wanted to break it off. But throughout that experience, I realized that he'd been the only relationship I'd ever had, and the fact that he only really cared about the physical part of our relationship and not the like connection part, it kind of messed with my head a little bit because I kind of thought like at that point I was starting to have like self-esteem issues and self-confidence issues because I felt like at that point I should have been engaging in more relationships than just one, and I felt like I was kind of behind on that whole aspect of my life, and I kind of started thinking, well, what if nobody ever likes me for more than just my body and my appearance? And it kind of made me start to question my personality. And so, in that way, it might have contributed to the developing of my ED just because of the fact that I started to become. Before we broke up, I could already totally tell that I was not eating right, and my eating disorder had kind of already started by then, and at some points I even worried him because he kind of noticed that my eating habits were changing. And but I feel like after we broke up, the eating disorder kind of got even more out of control and maybe even stronger because I started to think that if I made myself look sick and if I looked unhealthy and if I lost all of my curves and I looked really thin, then if I ever did get in another relationship, it would obviously not be because of looks. Because, I mean, guys like curves and guys like thin, but also a little bit of meat on your bones, obviously. So I thought that if I was really, really thin, then I would know for sure that the next time I got in a relationship, it would be because of my personality and not my looks, which that's a really messed up way of thinking. But again, at that point, I had already started developing an ED, so that was just another one of the messed up eating disorder thoughts that occurred to me. And I mean, I know deep down that that's just really messed up, but it still kind of made sense at the time because I was kind of really confused and really just open to anything, I guess, because I was really down on myself, and I still am that way, and I'll get into that next, but I started to question after that relationship if I was even capable of holding on to a successful relationship because, again, I kind of started to consider myself as a really boring person. Nobody would want to date me just because I wasn't very appealing personality wise, and I've never really been confident in how I look, so I also didn't really believe that anybody would like me because of my looks. And at some point around last year was particularly bad at school because it kind of proved to me that nobody was really noticing me because I felt more alone than I ever had my junior year in school, and I didn't really have any friends or make any new friends. I don't think I once talked to a boy that whole year, last year, so that kind of, it didn't really help, just the whole situation. And then again, I didn't really try to branch out. I kind of expected I kind of told myself if people were really interested in me, they would come to me, which is obviously not good because I should have been trying probably more. But I've always been really introverted, and I didn't really feel open to branch out to people because I've always had the feeling that I would just be wasting their time. They already have friends of their own. They don't need one more friend, especially if it's me. Like, just really terrible, really terrible self-esteem, and just not good thoughts about my relationship with my peers. Feeling just not feeling like I fit in at all with friends or just relationship based. But at some point, I just kind of gave up on the thought of dating altogether, and I just stopped caring about how I looked, like dressing and makeup wise, and I kind of I just stopped really trying to get the attention of the opposite sex because I just figured if I was trying before and I was never noticed, then why keep pursuing it? Like, why keep trying when I'm obviously not getting anywhere? So I just kind of gave up on the I just kind of told myself that I would never that nobody would ever like me. And that's hard, and I kind of have been there ever since. But that's kind of where it all started about a month ago. This kind of revived itself. But the person that I dated 2 years ago started texting me again about a month ago. And it was all these things like, I've missed you, I haven't forgot about you, I still have feelings for you, I still love you, I want to see you again, just all that stuff. And I didn't want to believe it, but me being a gullible person and kind of just open to anything at that point, I just said, I mean, I've already convinced myself that I won't really get anywhere, so I just said, what the heck, and I kind of pursued it. And, last night he texted me saying that he was finally free and that we could hang out and see each other again in person, because until then we've just been texting. And we planned for him to come over today, and just hang out. And the whole time we were talking about what we would do, it was just how he was looking forward to messing around, if you will, which it wasn't a surprise because of how he had been before, but I kind of, and I asked him, like, well, what does that make us? Like, where are we then? Like, what is that going to make us, basically? And he said that he would prefer a friends with benefits relationship, because he told me that his mom didn't want him to date me again because we'd already dated twice, and I guess she said that she didn't want me to get hurt. But that just seems kind of pointless, because how does he not realize that telling me he wants a friends with benefits relationship is going to hurt me more than dating him again? I don't know. When he said that, it just kind of ruined everything for me. I felt like he was texting me again because he wanted to try again with another round at dating, but in fact, he was just looking for the physical side of a relationship again, which it wouldn't have even really been a relationship. And I thought about it, and at about 1 a.m. last night, or this morning, I texted him again and I said, and I told him that I just wanted to move on. I called off our little get together that was supposed to happen today, and I just told him that I could not handle that kind of relationship because, I mean, I've already had issues with my self esteem, and the fact that somebody would want that kind of relationship without wanting anything more from me, it just kind of brought back the whole feeling of, I'll never have somebody that wants me for more than just what they see on the outside. And that's not all a relationship is. And I feel like I've never even really had anybody except him see me for what I am on the outside, let alone what I could have on the inside. And it's kind of, it's really messed up my self-esteem and my self-worth. And I hope he's not watching because I really don't want him to feel guilty about it, but it has been a really difficult learning experience. And I don't really know when I will realize that this is just a part of being a teenager. I mean, I know that this is just a phase and that it will eventually end when I get my mental state in check. But I mean, I just can't help but feeling that way, that I really have nothing to offer to the opposite sex to where I could actually date anybody. And it's kind of the fact that I've only had that one relationship, and the fact that it wasn't a failure, but it was only half of a relationship. And I feel like it hasn't really worked wonders on how I see myself as just a person in general, and how people will find me appealing. And this is kind of becoming a ramble, because I didn't really know what I was going to end up saying, but that's basically where I am. And I guess my depression and my self-esteem issues have just gotten completely, I mean, this whole relationship thing has just completely fed that enormously. But yeah, that whole thing ending with last night, it brought back the whole just not feeling like I'll ever be worth anything to anybody. That nobody will ever really want to get to know me, I guess, or want to start a relationship with me, which is a hard thing to accept, but I don't know. This has been really depressing, but that's basically what I've been dealing with, and hopefully the cycle with this person will end very soon, because I'm just ready to be done with this and find somebody that, if there's anybody out there, find somebody that actually cares about all of me and not just what's on the outside. Because that's what a relationship really should be. But I guess that's a good place to end, since that was kind of positive. But I'm sorry this has been depressing, and but I just felt like I should share that. And it wasn't really that much of an eating disorder related video. It was more of the other part of that, which is my depression and the whole what it does to your self-esteem and everything like that. But I have to end it because I'm about to hit 20 minutes. But I hope you're all doing well with your ED or whatever you are dealing with, and I hope everybody is staying strong, and I hope that this was helpful if maybe you're dealing with the same relationship or self-esteem issues, just know that you're not alone with it. And I hope that you can realize that there is somebody out there that will love every part of you and not just one part. But yes, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you're all well, and I will talk to you soon.